messing around.
Well, Lamorne Morris, this is a very special episode of the Loft Meeting because you are no longer just Lamorne Morris. You are Emmy winning
Where my shades?
Lamorne Morris.
Where my sunglasses at? Hold on.
Come on, put them on.
Yes.
Big time is all. Let's go.
You love me. You really, really love me.
I honestly, Lamorne. Okay. I have so many questions. I just saw you last week and I was there and got to talk to you about it and give you a hug, immediately cried, held your Emmy. It's real, 100% real. Heavy, by the way.
It's very
I had
heavy.
no idea. Like, did it shock you when they handed it to you and you're like, this has got some weight? I was not prepared.
Yeah, I just assumed it would be a little bit more hollow.
Yeah.
This thing is solid.
Hefty.
This thing is solid.
It's hefty
and dangerous.
and
It's
real.
got these sharp points on the end. I'm
I
like, what?
remember calling you when you got nominated and I was sobbing because I was like, this is so huge. This is massive and overdue and so earned. Real talk, was like on a scale of 1 to 10, what did you think your chances were for actually winning?
Very low. Very, very low. Just because, Robert Downey Jr., I just thought he's one of my favorite actors of all time. He's definitely in my top 5. So, I have a poster of this man in my house, a framed picture of him from Tropic Thunder, because I think that's the greatest comedic performance of all time, if not one of them. But so I thought oh yeah, and he's so great in the Sympathizer. So I was like, oh, Robert Downey Jr. or Jonathan Bailey, I thought maybe, from Fellow Travelers. I was like, it was hard for me to imagine a world in which I would win in that category because everybody's so great. But, I did, and I'm not sorry about it. but I'm still in shock because, I guess that's how everyone feels when they win, unless you're on The Bear. I think you just, The Bear, they just clean up, you know what I mean?
Veep, The Bear, there were certain
Veep,
shows.
Bear,
You're just like, just give it to them. Why are we all here? This is fun.
Yeah.
What's happening?
It's appointment television. We get it. But I could imagine everyone has that feeling. Everyone has that, especially if there's any level of humility in you. You're looking at your competition like, hey, the goal was the nomination. I already won. So since I got nominated, that's it. You know what I mean? I'm forever going to be Emmy nominated actor, which is great. But Emmy winner is a little different.
Different
It's a
ball
little
game.
different.
Does it feel
Oh, yeah.
different? Like, do you feel different now as an actor in this town?
Slightly. I just don't want it to change my approach to how I've been going about my business. You know what I mean? Hopefully it just means the opportunities come easier, quicker. You know what I mean? And so then I'll have more career freedom where I can choose and pick and really carve out and sculpt the way I want to go.
The power of no,
so-
right? When you get more opportunities, you get to exercise the power of no and curate your path a little bit more. But you can't do that if you got only one opportunity coming at you. You got to say yes.
Yeah. One gig comes a year, you got to do it.
That's right.
And so, yeah, that's the only way it feels different, is I can tell by press, all the interviews. I'm also simultaneously doing press for my movie that comes out soon called Saturday Night. And so there's a lot of talk around it. So I'm about the Emmy. When we do these screenings and stuff, they'll introduce the cast and they'll say an Emmy winner, Lamorne Morris. And I'm like, that feels so weird. That doesn't.
It's wild though, because here's the thing: you it's a movie that you're in about a TV show,
Yeah.
right? And you just won an Emmy for a TV show. It's those weird little layers of things.
Yeah.
Like it lends itself. Like it's
Yeah. And
wild.
Yeah, it's so far it hasn't really registered. I think once, the press slows down and and I get a chance to just be and exist and go do regular stuff again in a way where it's like, oh, I have a week off. Oh, I have a week with nothing on the schedule, like a full 7 days. Oh, what are we gonna do, Lily? I don't know. Go to the park? Well, doesn't matter what we do. We could go do whatever we want. Then I'll start to feel it a little bit more when I have that time to sit there and breathe. But right now it's just work, 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 work.
When I saw you at your place last week, you said something to me that's really stuck with me. You said, this kind of feels like this is for a new girl.
Mm-hmm.
What did that mean? What was that?
Well, I like to believe that we busted our asses on that show, and we never got besides season 1 where Max and Zoe were both nominated. But besides that, the show itself never got nominated, which was crazy to me because till this day, the fans still regard it as one of the best comedies they've seen.
Yep.
And I'm talking now, we're still doing really well on streamers, and we've been off the air for a long time. And people consider this a new show. To a lot of folks, it's a very new show. And to think, when you look back at all the work we put in, I felt like this is a part of this had something to do with the fans of New Girl. Like any of the Emmy voters that may have seen my work on the show were probably like, oh yeah. And especially because this character, Whit Farr from Fargo, is a complete departure from anything anyone's ever seen me do. Watching Whit versus Winston, two completely different characters with different sets of beliefs, all that. They go about things in a completely opposite way. And I feel like that resonated with voters.
Yeah, it's a body of work then, right? They get to look at a body of work. And New Girl was such a brilliantly written show and gave so many opportunities, right, to really show character work because we got to do it for so long that, then all of a sudden when you come out and then crush it on a drama, right, then all of a sudden people go like, wow, like that's range in an actor. But that's because they have the bookend on the other side, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and New Girl 100%. Came out in such a weird time because it was the ending kind of Modern Family, which was like an award show sweetheart. And it was also the introduction of letting these kind of like dramedies enter into the comedy category. So all of a sudden we were up against Girls and Orange is the New Black, which had a different kind of performance. And so New Girl all of a sudden couldn't, there was no space for us in those categories anymore. The classic sitcom kind of got pushed out. Yeah. And we were doing real work and great work, and it kind of it never made it into like that awards circuit. And it was, the level of text and love, I feel like, from like the New Girl cast writers, a whole new text thread chain started. Yeah. Right? After we all saw you win and everyone was real emotional. Like, I know, who called you? I feel like a bunch of people all of a sudden had to call you immediately.
Oh, yeah. It was hard immediately because I still haven't this is crazy. I still haven't returned all the text messages yet.
Sure.
There were, I thought were like 600 text messages. Then I turned my other phone on and there were like maybe like 700.
Get out.
I was like, damn. And so I spent days going through it and texting people back and copying and paste because it's like the same. Like I can't possibly have a long conversation about it, and some people understood. Some people were like, don't even respond. I just want to say congratulations. I'm like, oh, thank you for that, because it's a lot of messages, and I don't want anybody to feel like I'm intentionally like just ignoring. I'm not. I just haven't gotten to them all yet, and they were all sent over the course of 2 weeks. They're still coming in, and I Pat, I owe you a call. I'm calling you soon.
I feel like you had that moment even in your speech.
Yeah.
Like, did you write a speech out? Did you write something down before you went up?
No. I like improvising, so I like being more in the moment. However, I didn't think I was going to win. So I was like, why would I go up there and write some sort of speech about following your dreams and doing all this, make sure to vote and do, I don't know, whatever people talk about in their speeches. I was like, I'm not that person. And I'm not going to win. So there's no need to spend all my energy like working on this speech. And to be quite honest with you, like I said, I was doing press. I was filming. I didn't have time. I didn't have time to like sit back. I was traveling a lot back and forth, Toronto, New York, Chicago. Like it was all over the place. So I was like, man, when I'm on the plane, I'm trying to like think of stuff. And the only thing I could think of was just don't forget anybody's name. Don't forget the names that you're supposed to, remember. And then I ended up forgetting that.
Well, it's a lot of people, right? When you actually up there and you have this opportunity on the biggest stage you've ever stood on globally.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's a lot of people that helped get you there.
Yeah.
Right. That you want to be able to recognize and shine a light on. I'm sure. I mean, I don't know, but I'm sure.
No, listen, no one gets to these places alone. And so, I mean, there's an entire, I wanted to thank every director I ever worked with. You know what I mean? I wanted to thank all the actors that I've ever, like you guys. I literally was going to go up there and start thanking the New Girl cast and doing like a whole bit. But I was like, then I'll alienate my Fargo cast. I was like, wait,
weren't you in the audience? Didn't you tell me this, that you were actually preparing to do a bit, which is why you actually got thrown when they said your name?
Yeah, my plan, everyone I talked to, including Max was like, just work on your loser face. And somebody else told me that too. Maybe it was Sean Clifford from Fleabag. I forget. So multiple people told me that though. Work on your loser face.
Okay.
So I was working on that, and my loser face wasn't going to be like, oh, that's exciting, that's happy, like, oh, great. No, my loser face was, I'm going to curse out the cameraman. Like, I'm going to act like this is such a travesty. I'm not going to Kanye it and run on stage, but I will be like, like grabbing the lens and going, and I was going to like do that. And right when I was about to put my hand up and be like, they called my name, and I just went, whoa.
I saw you retract into yourself.
Yes.
You just went,
because it hit me. I still think about that, and I get a little emotional. I'm like, oh God. That moment when she said my name, I just was like, what? My mom was there. It was a perfect evening. It was a pretty damn good evening.
I can't imagine walking around those parties afterwards holding the Emmy. I mean, this is an industry, right, where we're basically just hoping to be picked all the time. Please, we really want this role. We really want this opportunity. Please, we're going to try our hardest. Please pick us. I mean, that's just the truth. It's the underbelly of so much of it, right? For so long, right? And here you have, so many wonderful, influential people in this town being like, man, you just did the best job. And you get to walk around and everybody goes like, yeah, you did. You did an incredible job. And you get to sit in that moment I can't imagine that feeling.
You will.
I'll live vicariously. So many things. You know me. I'm a homebody. So many things I live vicariously through you. This one was a really, really cool one. It's so funny. I was so proud of you for one, not only getting nominated, but how you handled that nomination, how you spoke on it. And I know it was so genuine that you just appreciated being seen for this really, challenging role. And I did not have my TV on. Things were a little chaotic at my house that night. I did not have my TV on, and I was thinking about you, and I sent you a text, right, that just said, I love you, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm so inspired by you, and I'm just so happy for you. And I think it was, I don't know, whatever the timestamp on it was, like 6:32 or something, which is like when you were on stage winning.
Yeah.
And then I sent that text to you, and about 10 seconds later, honest to God, I should screen grab it. I probably got 60 texts from like old hairdressers I've used, makeup artists I've used, anybody that had my number that like loves the show, New Girl, and loves you, were texting me like I was your mom, you know, being like, oh my God. And then I dropped my phone, started crying, and I was like, I had no idea. It was so powerful for all of us that, you know, love you so deeply and have championed like you for so long, and to see everybody recognize it. It was beautiful, man. It was beautiful for everybody. It's a crazy thing to see how that when that happens, everybody got such a huge lift that night from you winning. Like even talking to your mom, she was in tears.
My mom was in tears, you know. This is as important to her as it is to me, you know, because, you know, I am, you know, my mom's kids are her prizes. And then when they are happy and, you know, she's happy. When they're successful, she feels successful. And so, you know, it's like she truly feels what I feel at times. You know what I mean? Even when I'm like going through it, like emotionally or physically or health wise, whatever it is, it could be nothing. Like it could literally be like nothing. My mom is like emotional about it. She's like trying to, you know. So this a victory like this is pretty cool for her. It's cool for me, but it's cool for her as well, and for the whole family. You know, it's exciting, definitely exciting. I'll tell you, I walked into to go back to one of your earlier points. When you leave there, they give you this massive box before you leave. You know, it's like, hey, do you want to put your Emmy in this big box? And I'm like, it's the big black box with like cushions on the inside, and it's like a case with a lock on it, whatever. And I was like, I'm not about to walk around with a massive box. Now I got to use two hands to carry around this box all day at these parties. I was like, no, I'm going to keep this trophy in my hand. And it worked out because one of the after parties was at Taika Waititi and Rita Ora were throwing a party, right? Now, I did not have an invite to this house party gathering. So I was just like, you know, but I want to go. I'm gonna check it out, see what's happening. But I didn't have an invite, and I had 5 people with me. Like all my friends met up with me after the Emmys, and we like, you know, piled in the SUV, and we're like, we mobbing out. So we went to a couple parties, and then we ended up. Someone gave me the address to Taika's place, and we get there, and the security asked the driver. He's like, "What do you have in there?" And he's like, "Lamorne Morris." And he goes back and looks at a little clipboard, and comes back and was like, "Sorry, not on the list." He's like, if you could pull a U-turn, you can head back out towards Sunset. Like pretty much telling him how to leave. And I was like, hold on, wait. And my buddy Kyle was like, just get out, Emmy first. So there's paparazzi outside of the house. So I get out, Emmy first, and paparazzi start taking photos. Lamorne. And because of that, security was like, oh, yeah, y'all come on in.
Get out.
Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna go. I think I'm about to go to the mall.
Emmy privilege. You knew there's a whole category of privilege. Emmy privilege.
I'll accept it for as long as they're willing to give it to me. You know what I mean?
That's
this
so
doesn't
cool.
happen often. Who knows? You know, knock on wood. I pray that I'm, you know, always doing work that people, you know, appreciate. And, you know, in this manner, it's great. It doesn't have to be this, but it's really appreciated. But I just want to keep doing good stuff where people find entertaining and amusing, or, you know, tear jerking, whatever it is. But this might be the only one. I want more, but if this is the only one, I'm gonna ride this wave forever. We're about to I'm gonna see what I can get. Because they didn't give me no damn gift bag. I didn't go to a gifting suite either. So I'm pissed off about that.
You're like, I want that free trip down to the Caribbean.
Yes. Yeah, they had an Africa trip. They had a Turkey trip.
Get out.
Yes.
Yo, you need to go. You need to retroactively find your way.
Man,
Get your people to call those people. You need to figure that out. I've said this before. I will say it again. You are a quarter of the way there.
To EGOT.
You know all that's going to, I see it. I'm telling you, this is my vision as your non-blood sister. I see it. I see a 4 out of 4. I also see you hosting a really funny show that I like a lot. I'm putting that out there too.
SNL. Lorne Michaels, what are you doing?
That's what I'm saying. Lorne.
Why are we doing this to me? What are we doing?
You have an Emmy award winning star. Ready.
Come on, man.
It's a show. It's a show about your legacy. Let's go.
Come on, man.
This is what I'm saying. We'll send this. We're gonna send this to Lauren. I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna behind the scenes Wizard of Ozing some things. I love you and I'm proud of you. And here's
love
to
you.
many, many more.
Cheers.
Ding.